Hi yoga buddies, we're going to talk about our midterm and we're going to talk about props. So for the midterm, you need to select 3 yoga poses. You need to tell me their name in English. I don't need the Sanskrit name. You can if you want, but it's not necessary. Tell me why the pose is named what it is. Why is warrior pose called warrior pose? You don't have to research it. Just tell me what you think. If you want to research it, you can, but you're not required to. Tell me what's happening in your body when you're doing the pose. Is something lengthening? Is something strengthening? Is something releasing? Just tell me what's happening in the body. Also, how do you make this pose accessible to everyone? Maybe you use props. Here's a hint, you can use a chair. Just find a way. Remember when we did crow pose? Every single person in the classroom did crow. We did a version of it or a variation of it. So come up with a way that pose is accessible for everyone. And then how do you feel in the pose? And then also what's happening with your breathing when you're in the pose. Remember sometimes when we're in a twist, everything's kind of compressed, and so you have to kind of focus a little more on breathing deeply. So just kind of go through those things. It doesn't have to be long answers, but make sure that you're using complete sentences and don't use text jargon. Give me actual words. It's worth 25 points. And as long as you do or answer every question, you do what's asked, you'll receive your 25 points. It's not a right or wrong. Again, you don't do research. You can be as creative as you want. You can draw pictures, take pictures, make a video, just write it out. However you want to do it, just make sure you submit it through Canvas. It is due on April 19th. So now that we've talked about the midterm, let's talk a little bit about props. So we've used a few props in class. You guys remember our yoga strap. In our case, we used neckties. Remember, we could do all kinds of stretching with them from side to side, or we use them through our legs. We suddenly everyone could reach their toes. So you can always use a strap. We had talked about with hot yoga, another prop is a yoga mat towel. Some of them have these grippies on the bottom. It's like those gripper socks that keep you from sliding around or falling down on the bottom. And then it's almost like a chamois on the top. They come in all different sizes, shapes. I like the little hand towel sized ones. But a bath towel works just fine. Blocks. We've talked about blocks before. The cool thing about blocks is they have multiple sides. So you can have this level, you can take it lower, you can take it higher. You have all of these options with your blocks. So if you are doing a forward fold and you don't come all the way to the ground, maybe you reach your blocks. Maybe you use 1. Maybe you stack up 2. You have options. If you don't have a block, you can use all sorts of things around the house. These are made out of foam. Often they're made out of cork. You can pick these up very inexpensively at TJ Maxx or Walmart or one of the box stores, but look around your house. You don't need to buy something if you have something that'll work. Another prop is a sandbag. We've talked about these once before. These are filled with sand. They weigh 10 pounds each. When we do legs up the wall, you can have the sandbag sitting flat on your feet to kind of have that pressure. It sort of grounds down through the spine and kind of helps ease the tailbone down to the floor. They're also really nice for your Baddha Konasana, your reclined cobbler's pose. You can lay them on the insides of the thighs to open things up. When you're in your regular butterfly pose, you can use them. I have 2 here. It's just a nice weight. Think of it as a weighted blanket but just a little heavier. So you always have options with these. Everybody's favorite is their eye pillow. So what could you use in place of an eye pillow? I can think of several different things. I'm sure you can too. And this is a bolster. So with a bolster, you can do a lot of restorative poses with a bolster. So maybe you want to do your forward fold over a bolster. Or maybe you want to line up to the side of it and turn your body to lean down over the top of it. You can also use a bolster to raise you up. So maybe you sit right on the edge and then find your easy seated Sukhasana pose and the knees kind of drop down. It's going to give you some relief in your lower back. In your final Shavasana, a bolster is really nice to put under your knees. So those of you who normally have your knees bent and kind of tented together, when you use the bolster, it releases that pressure from your lower back, which is really nice. Another one of my favorite props is a blanket. Everyone has a blanket at home. So just practice different ways to fold it up. I just made it thicker. Now I have a bolster that I can slide underneath my knees. I don't need it to be quite as high. So I'll just fold it a different way. And now I have a nice seat. So you have options there. Another really neat thing that you can do with your blocks is in your child's pose. When you're coming forward, you can rest your head on a block. Or some of you, most of you, have really open hips in this class. When you're doing your butterfly pose, you can even bring your feet up onto a block. Just notice the difference in how it feels. And always make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall, inhaling to lengthen the spine before you begin to fold forward. So that takes care of props. Your assignment for this week is worth 10 points. One assignment this week, that's it. There's nothing else you have to do on Wednesday. It takes care of it all week long, 10 points. Look around your house and find a prop. I don't care what it is, but find that prop, use it to complete a yoga pose, a yoga asana. And in this week's assignment box, post a picture of yourself using the prop or a very short video. I prefer a picture. Draw a picture of how it would work. You can write it out if you prefer, but let's get some fun pictures going of different props and how you can use them. I'm looking around the room, what am I gonna grab? I'm gonna grab a table. So my table is now gonna be a block or a chair, or I can do my downward dog like we do up against the wall. You have options. Use them. So look around, see what kind of household items you have. Maybe it's a kitty litter bucket, or maybe it's a cushion from the sofa. It could be anything. So I look forward to seeing what you submit, and we will share them. I'll find a way to post them all so we can see what other people have done. If you do not want me to share your submission, just type in the box, do not share, and I won't. So we will